Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. I hope everybody's having a great Friday morning out there. We have severe weather possible today across the southern plains, including the threat for tornadoes. And then we'll have building heat with our first 90-degree temperatures possible across the Midwest into next week with tropical trouble brewing across the southeastern United States. We'll get into all of those details and much more in today's video. But going through today, we have a cold front dropping south out of the northern and central plains, and it has its eyes set on the southern plains today. But before that, temperatures behind the cold front will be dropping into the 60s up here across the upper Midwest and parts of the central plains. So we have a brief cool down expected up here as we go into later on today, but very refreshing as well, as the dew points will be much lower. But where the heat is building across portions of the southern plains into Texas, temperatures will be into the low and middle 90s from Texas into Louisiana, southeastern Arkansas, into western Mississippi today. And that is where we'll be building up some instability. Our Cape values could be approaching 2,000 joules per kilogram down here into central Texas and on up into western Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma later on today. And this will promote the chance for at least scattered severe weather from Little Rock back down here through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, San Angelo, and the San Antonio region as we get into central Texas later on today. This does come with the threat for tornadoes. We have a 2% shading of tornadoes in this light green shaded area. This does include the Little Rock area, getting back into Fort Smith, Fayetteville, down into the Ardmore area into southeastern Oklahoma, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and then as far south as Waco and Austin, Texas, into portions of central Texas later on today. But if you guys do like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, be sure to press the subscribe button down below. I definitely appreciate it. Also, be sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. It definitely helps out more than you know, so I definitely appreciate that as well. So timing out the storms, noon time frame, we do have a complex of showers and storms pushing across southeastern Kansas into northeastern Oklahoma through the noon time frame. This will primarily be more elevated, so we're not talking about any damaging winds or tornadoes with this activity. Possibly some hail and heavy rainfall, however, going through the late morning into the early afternoon hours further to the north. But as we go into late this afternoon, after 4 o'clock Central Time, I think we'll start to fire up a few supercells just to the north and west of Little Rock, up toward the Fayetteville, Fort Smith area, down into southeastern Oklahoma, and just northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex by about 5, 6 o'clock here this afternoon and evening. And not everybody will see these storms, but if you get under one of these stronger cells, they definitely could be producing some heavy rainfall and some damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes, so do be mindful of that. And then going through the late evening hours, we'll have a couple more rounds of showers and storms firing up from central Texas on up through central and northeastern Arkansas there into western Tennessee. Those areas could be seeing some lingering severe weather, but I do think the severity of the storms will start to wane quickly after sunset as we start to slowly lose the instability. Then as we go into your Saturday, this cold front will continue to progress further to the south and east, closer to Dixie Alley and the southern United States here into Georgia, getting into Alabama there, northwestern Florida, southern Mississippi, and the eastern portions of Louisiana. We also have a small little marginal risk down here into the Rio Grande Valley into southern Texas on your Saturday. But timing this out across the southeast, waking up on your Saturday morning at 6 a.m., we do have an ongoing complex of showers and storms across western Tennessee, getting into northwestern Mississippi as well. Primarily just some heavy rain and small hail with probably lots of lightning still lingering around with those storms in the morning. Going through midday, we may have some re-intensification of that complex of storms as it progresses across northern Alabama, northwestern Georgia. So if you live in the Birmingham, Tuscaloosa area, up toward the Huntsville region, and then further east toward Atlanta, Georgia, watch out for a couple of these strong to severe storms going through the midday hours on Saturday. Then we'll have new development right across Alabama, getting into southern Mississippi and North Georgia there. So from Atlanta through Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, down into the Montgomery area, and then further south toward Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Those will be the primary areas I'll be keeping an eye on for some isolated damaging winds, large hail, and possibly a spin up tornado going through your Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Those will continue through the evening hours. And then by the time we get to midnight on Sunday morning on May 21st, these storms once again will be losing their energy and severity as the instability values will really start to tank as we go through the late evening hours. But overall, the rainfall amounts will be beneficial across the southern plains. We will be waking up to lots of decent rains across portions of the Oklahoma region, getting into Arkansas and even parts of western Tennessee. A couple inches of rain cannot be ruled out through your Monday time frame. In fact, zooming it in here around the Oklahoma City metro area, Tulsa, getting in toward the Ardmore area into southeastern Oklahoma, and then down just south and west of Little Rock, we could have a swath of 1 to 3 inches worth of rain going through that Monday morning time frame on May 22nd. So definitely some beneficial rain to help out with the drought across many of these areas. But going into next week, the upper level pattern does support a ridge building across southern Canada and the northern United States, with more troughing building out here across the southeast. And that will continue largely through the middle of next week. On Wednesday, May 24th, a large ridge will take over across southern Canada and the upper Midwest, with warming temperatures, summer like temperatures at that, across those regions. But we are also keeping an eye on a trough or a storm system developing right over the Florida Peninsula and the southeast. That could be of tropical origin as we go in towards the middle and late portion of next week. But before we talk about that, this will be providing us with warmer temperatures as we have that ridge building into next week. On Monday here, we'll be seeing some upper 80s out here across the Dakotas, eastern Montana, even some 70s across portions of the central and southern plains. But as we go into Tuesday, it'll warm up even further up here across the upper Midwest, widespread mid 80s, even some isolated upper 80s, 87, 88 degrees going into your Tuesday time frame. And the same thing will hold true on Wednesday. So some sustained summer-like warmth is expected across the upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley as well, going through the middle of next week. So definitely, potentially a couple areas could be seeing their first 90-degree temperatures up here into like central Illinois, parts of Iowa, Missouri, going in towards the middle of next week. But underneath that, we're going to have a trough start to build in towards that Wednesday, May 24th time frame, right over the southeast, or in particular central Florida here. And we have to watch this because the EPS ensemble guidance, the European ensemble, does have the strengthening a little bit toward the latter portion of next week on Thursday, May 25th. And with the warmer waters just offshore here across the western Atlantic and really even over the Gulf, we definitely have to watch any low pressure system that does decide to spin up here. And this may be in association with the cold front, as well as the cold front slows down this weekend into early next week as it approaches portions of North Florida. So this will be something to keep an eye on with those warmer sea surface temperature anomalies across the southeastern United States. And you do see there will be a system trying to develop just off the coast of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas late next week. And how close this gets to the shore, or how this really affects the southeastern United States, is still up in the air, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on as we get closer towards the latter portion of next week. But other than that, going through next weekend, the Memorial Day weekend time frame, previewing this for you, we have the ridge continuing to build across southeastern Canada and the northern United States on Saturday, May 27th, and we still have some pressure falls underneath that with a trough down across the southeast with more unsettled weather. That does continue into Sunday with the summertime warmth across the north, some slightly below average temperatures farther to the south near the Gulf Coast and into Florida in association with some of this unsettled weather for your Memorial Day weekend. But going into that time frame on Saturday, May 27th, temperatures will be warming even further. We have some lower 90s to talk about all across parts of the Midwest here, especially into the Illinois Valley, down into parts of the lower Missouri Valley on Saturday. And that only strengthens going into Sunday, May 28th, and probably even Memorial Day itself. So definitely get ready for a hot and steamy Memorial Day weekend if you do live across portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the Missouri Valley, with widespread 80s and low 90s out there for that weekend time frame. So get the pools ready because we definitely will be needing them as we get towards that weekend time frame. Looking at the Memorial Day weekend precipitation, it does look a little bit more active here across the north central plains from the Dakotas, Minnesota, down through Nebraska, western Kansas, and then as far south as maybe the Amarillo area into western Oklahoma as well, and across the southeast. We'll have to watch a couple more of these low pressure systems. If they do develop, they could have more tropical moisture to contend with getting into your Memorial Day weekend from that May 27th through Memorial Day Memorial Day itself on May 29th. We'll definitely have to be keeping an eye on some of the heavier rains trying to fall down here into Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and parts of northern Florida. We will be fine-tuning this in the coming days, but if you guys like detailed weather breakdowns, be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. I will have a podcast coming out this morning at 8 a.m., so definitely go check that out if you have not already. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure also to follow me on Twitter for additional weather forecast updates. You can find that in the description below. Follow me at hweather420. But thank you guys again so much for watching each and every morning. Be sure to subscribe to the channel down below if you're new. Hit the notification bell to get all of my live streams, videos, and podcasts as well. And I hope everybody has a great weekend out there. Have a great Friday, and I'll see you all in the next video.